Squidward was delivering food to Sandy. He accidentally flew up into the air because Sandy's tree dome had turned into a rocket and launched into space. When the rocket rose into space, gravity suddenly disappeared. SpongeBob floated up, and his upside-down posture exposed his underpants. Pearl also danced lightly. She accidentally touched an electric leakage spot because she was too weightless. Squidward also felt an unprecedented sense of lightness. It turned out they were not out of danger yet. Sandy operated urgently and told them to get back to their seats quickly. SpongeBob and the other two squeezed together rapidly and fastened their safety belts. They had to pass through 3 dangerous zones to reach their destination. The first was the frigid zone, and Squidward froze solid. Pearl and Squidina were also freezing cold, but SpongeBob built a snowman inside the rocket. Next, they entered the scorching heat zone. The space oven could even spit fire. The snowman melted right away. Sandy lay on the ground from the heat. The telescope was as hot as an oven. Sandy ordered everyone to hide under the lead blankets. Finally, they reached the high radiation zone. Sandy ordered everyone to hide under the lead blankets. Squidward thought he was back in Bikini Bottom. He walked out of the rocket at once. Suddenly, he saw the Earth far away, and he finally realized he had arrived on the moon. The powerful gravity squeezed him into a ball. The ball-shaped Squidward bounced all over the place, and then he fell into a hole on the moon. Meanwhile, Sandy and the others came out as well. Sandy set up a tent right away. Pearl was in charge of measuring the moon's gravity. SpongeBob went to search for intelligent life on the moon. Squidward finally escaped from the cave, and completely sealed the cave entrance. This part of the moon was a SpongeBob free zone, but SpongeBob found footprints. SpongeBob walked forward following the footprints. He spotted the takeout order Squidward had lost. Sandy heard the noise and walked over. There was a Krabby Patty inside the bag. After seeing the Krabby Patty, Sandy realized it was already lunchtime, so she told SpongeBob to go back to the rocket to get food. Squidward thought the dark side of the moon was also free of SpongeBob, so he went inside. SpongeBob accidentally mixed up the lunch button and the launch button.
Preparing to launch.
The next second, the rocket lifted off, dragging the anchor along with it. Luckily, the chain hooked onto a moon hole, so the spaceship moved while dragging the moon. Sandy climbed up the chain to the rocket. She stopped the spaceship, but the moon had already been dragged out of its normal orbit. Due to tidal effects, the sea level on Earth dropped drastically. The residents of Bikini Bottom could only walk with their heads lowered. Suddenly, Squidward floated out. Santa Claus followed right behind him. It turned out Santa Claus lived on the dark side of the moon. Santa Claus soon noticed the abnormal state of the moon. SpongeBob suddenly came up with an idea. He took out 4 cans of soda. After everyone drank the carbonated drinks, they started burping non-stop, but this method did not work, so they tried to push the moon back. When Santa Claus saw the scene, he began to mock them. Sandy threatened him to take out the tools. Santa Claus told SpongeBob to bring out the Jack-in-the-Box. SpongeBob snatched Santa Claus's tools in one grab. All of a sudden, a Jack-in-the-Box popped out. The tremendous impact shattered the moon. Bikini Bottom was on the verge of destruction, but SpongeBob came up with a brilliant idea. He used a water gun to inflate his body. In the end, he turned himself into the moon. Bikini Bottom was saved. SpongeBob put a glass dome over Gary's body. Even though it fit perfectly, the veins showing through Gary's pink skin looked a little creepy. It turned out that SpongeBob had accidentally broken Gary's original shell. At that time, SpongeBob was sleeping and was woken up by noises outside the bedroom. So SpongeBob grabbed a tennis racket to check what was going on, even though he was very scared. When he got downstairs, he saw his false teeth moving around wildly. Besides that, his favorite pair of shoes was jumping all over the place too. SpongeBob raised his hand toward the shoes. He slapped it hard and knocked Gary out from inside. Gary crashed into a bucket filled with sand, covered all over with foam. SpongeBob saw that Gary was not hurt. He patted Gary's shell, and Gary's shell broke into pieces. At first, Gary was heartbroken, so SpongeBob tried to glue the broken shell back together. The shell split apart almost right after being glued. SpongeBob looked for many different things, including even his own pants, but none of them worked. Just as SpongeBob was about to put a helmet on Gary, Gary suddenly threw a book straight at SpongeBob's face. It was a magazine full of content about snail shells.
Page 72. Here it is. Wow! Standard. And for the affordable price of just $95.95.
The only problem was the price was way too expensive. Then a snail shell commercial suddenly came on TV. Jack's Shell Shop was having a huge snail shell sale. The next second, SpongeBob rushed straight to the store. Jack was thrilled, thinking his advertisement had finally worked. He first showed SpongeBob a pink snail shell. It looked almost identical to Gary's original shell. Unfortunately, it was the wrong size. The shell slipped off Gary and shattered. Jack brought out a yellow snail shell next. This time, the size was a perfect match, but SpongeBob wanted to test if it would slip off again. SpongeBob decided to grab a new shell himself. As soon as SpongeBob turned around, the shell hit Jack and broke. Then SpongeBob spotted another beautiful snail shell. However, the second he picked it up, he tripped over his own shoelace and fell to the ground. This shell broke as well. After that, Jack carefully picked out an incredibly strong shell for Gary, but the shell was so shiny that the light was almost blinding. SpongeBob couldn't even keep his eyes open. He kept stepping backward and accidentally knocked over the shells behind him. In the next second, every snail shell in the store fell and shattered. Jack's entire inventory was completely destroyed. Jack took out the last metal snail shell. This time, SpongeBob was prepared. He tied tied his shoelaces tightly, wiped the sweat off his hands, and even covered his hands with thick protective foam gloves. Nervously, he reached out and picked up the shell, but somehow, disaster struck again. The last metal snail shell also broke. The shop owner finally lost his patience.
And I demand immediate payment!
Take it. It's all my savings.
SpongeBob left Jack's shop with Gary. SpongeBob picked a cardboard shell out of a trash can for Gary, but the moment Gary saw the cardboard shell, it suddenly started crying. SpongeBob felt so guilty that he cried, too. Just then, Mr. Krabs showed up. SpongeBob traded free work to get a shell from Mr. Krabs. That night SpongeBob suddenly woke up and got a fright when he saw a crab shell. Later he found out it was Gary's new shell. The most evil villain of the deep sea, Dirty Bubble, has been arrested after he kidnapped a police officer. 3 police officers worked together to trap him inside a bottle. After 2 months in prison, he has been cleaned thoroughly now. He said he was no longer Dirty Bubble. He shook hands with the warden politely. Then the warden handed him a note and used a fan to send him on his way. It turned out the note held the address of the Krusty Krab. He said he could work as the greeter at the door. Mr. Krabs never turns anyone away, so he gave him a job washing dishes. Bubble thought this job was not for him, and it would turn him back into Dirty Bubble. Wait, can I work the cash register or do something else instead? Mr. Krabs said he could save money on soap, and ordered him to get all dishes clean before lunch. Under Mr. Krabs' stern stare, he felt he was about to turn back into Dirty Bubble right away. Just then, a pile of Krabby Patties walked past him. It turned out this patty-covered creature was none other than SpongeBob, the underwater chef. Bubble immediately stepped forward to greet his new co-worker, but he hid his true identity. When it was time to start work, the two returned to their own workstations. He tentatively wiped one plate. Seeing he was still completely clean, he thought he would never turn evil again, so he kept cleaning diligently, scrubbing every corner hard and not missing a single tiny detail. Thanks to his hard work, all the plates looked brand new, but his clean body slowly grew filthy, and he turned back into Dirty Bubble. His true nature showed itself instantly. Just as he was about to hurt SpongeBob, SpongeBob suddenly spun around. He saw Dirty Bubble. He screamed loudly out of fright. He thought his new co-worker had been killed. After he ran around in panic, he was finally cornered by Dirty Bubble. He grabbed a water hose to protect himself, and started spraying Dirty Bubble with water. Unexpectedly, this successfully turned him back into Clean Bubble. He realized the new co-worker was Dirty Bubble all along. He decided to help Dirty Bubble reform together, before they could even catch their breath. Mr. Krabs assigned them a new task. It turned out to be cleaning the restrooms. Bubble was drawn to the grime and wandered inside, turning into Dirty Bubble once more. Dirty Bubble returned to the scene. He pushed every customer using the toilet straight into the toilet bowls. Just as he prepared to attack SpongeBob, SpongeBob instantly transformed into a water faucet. Bubble was washed clean once again.
Thanks for keeping me clean, SpongeBob.
Don't worry, DP. We just needed to wash away that stinking thinking.
From then on, the two became underwater cleaning partners. Bubble was in charge of removing filth, and SpongeBob was in charge of cleaning Dirty Bubble. The two split up their work and cooperated perfectly. While Bubble was working earnestly, Patrick showed up. Patrick flicked the gunk from his belly button right onto Bubble's face. He turned evil once more, and began wreaking havoc all over the Krusty Krab. He then ran away from the restaurant. Some children were playing in the mud, and he mercilessly scrubbed all of them completely clean. When he saw the elementary school teachers constantly wearing sour, nasty faces,
No more pencils, no more books, no more news guys, dirty looks.
SpongeBob sprayed him with clean water, but plain water was no longer enough to stop him. Dirty Bubble blew out many small bubbles to attack SpongeBob. SpongeBob swung his spatula and quickly shattered all the tiny bubbles. Dirty Bubble swallowed SpongeBob whole in one gulp. SpongeBob thought his life was over, but Dirty Bubble wanted to absorb more mud and dirt. Yet SpongeBob could also absorb dirt and grime. SpongeBob's body kept swelling bigger and bigger, until he finally spat out a tiny Dirty Bubble. Dirty Bubble was captured by the police in the end.